Any one of those incidents can escalate. So when it becomes an incident, it's going to essentially try to cluster all of the things underneath it, all of the children of that. So this is going to include any service checks on those systems, any hosts that are rendered unreachable by that outage, and it's going to roll those up so it doesn't generate separate notifications. You can also create rules to forcibly correlate things together. So you could say, for example, if this particular load balancer goes down, I don't need alarms for these particular web services because I know they're going to be affected. Or you could say, if this remote site is experiencing a bandwidth problem, I don't need to get latency alarms because I know they're going to be related to that bandwidth problem. The most important thing from a user perspective when you're going through the tool is to understand the states that the incidents can be in. So when we go and look at the incidents, they're going to fall into four main states. An open incident has alarms that are critical or down. So open incidents are what every incident starts at, and those are going to generate notifications. Notifications can send out SMS, syslog, SNMP trap, email type notifications. They can also send out custom alerts via the notification or incident management rules. And they can also, beginning in 9.1, generate responses. So 9.1 is our early feature release software track. There's two software tracks. There's stable and early features. If you're in early features, we just added the ability to do responsive actions. So as the result of a notification in an incident, you can actually use SSH and PowerShell. And we also added the ability to send out notifications via webhooks, which gives us deeper integration with notification services like OpsDuty or OpsGenie or PagerDuty or ticketing systems like ServiceNow, for example. Once an incident's in an open state, generally the first thing you're going to want to do is go acknowledge that incident. And when you acknowledge the incident, it's basically telling everyone who's looking at it that you've taken ownership of it so that you know basically what's going on. So this is basically marked as a known problem. It's going to stop any further escalation or re-notification. It's going to acknowledge all of the related alarms within that alert. It's going to let you put in a note, which is going to get shared with anybody who got that critical notification so they know it's being worked on. And it's going to change it in the UI so everybody knows this is not a net new problem. Now, when these problems go away, all the alarms within that incident clear up and everything's going all right, you're going to move into a state called alarms cleared. And an alarms cleared state means everything is okay now, but we're not going to declare this incident closed until we know it's not flapping. So the trick is it's going to stay in this alarms cleared state for a few minutes, usually 5 minutes by default. And it's going to do that until everything, all of those alarms that made up that incident have been stable for that length of time. And then it will go back to a closed state. If they're not stable, if the alarms happen again, it'll either go back to open or acknowledged. So if it's already been acknowledged, it'll stay acknowledged. If it's, if it was open and non-acknowledged, it'll go back to that open state. But it lets you avoid the situation where you've got like a link to a remote site that's going up and down. The carrier's working on it and you want to acknowledge it. But in previous versions, if you acknowledge that problem, as soon as it got restored, even if it went back down a minute later, it would reset the acknowledgement, and that ended up sending out a lot of notifications. So now we have this kind of buffering state where it's telling you this is okay, but we're still watching it for a few more minutes. And if everything's okay, we're going to move into that last state, which is closed. So once it's closed, it's archived for reporting purposes, and it'll send out an additional notification to tell everybody that the incident has been closed. In the user interface, there's a report called active incidents. And when you see active incidents, what it's talking about is anything not closed. So open, acknowledged, or alarms cleared are all considered active incidents. And you'll be able to see those on the dashboard and in the active incidents page.